Today, we're following an investor's journey as he tries to answer a really critical question about an investment that, honestly, seems way too good to be true. It all revolves around one of the hottest stocks on the planet. Let's dive in. So, just imagine this for a second. What if you could tap into a superstar stock like NVIDIA, but instead of just hoping the price goes up, it paid you over 50% a year just in income? I mean, that sounds impossible, right? But that exact promise is what drew an investor named Tony Hicks into this really fascinating and kind of complex financial product. Just look at that number, 50%. In a world where we get excited about a 5% yield, 50% sounds like something out of a dream. But this was the staggering annualized yield that an ETF called NVDY was actually offering. Okay, so what was our investor thinking? How did he decide to jump on this incredible promise? Let's unpack his initial reasoning when he first decided to buy in.
Now, here's where his logic gets really interesting. He wasn't actually betting that NVIDIA's stock was going to keep soaring to the moon. In fact, he kind of thought it was already way overvalued. So instead, he wanted to harness the stock's wild swings, its volatility, to generate a steady paycheck of cash. It was a really clever, kind of sideways approach to playing one of the hottest stocks out there.
So, what's the secret sauce? What's the financial wizardry that turns all that market chaos into a massive dividend check every month? Let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on under NVIDIA's hood. It really all boils down to a three-step process. First, the fund doesn't exactly buy and hold NVIDIA stock. It uses other financial tools, derivatives, to basically copy its performance. Second, and this is the absolute key, it sells something called a covered call option. Think of it like this. They're selling off the potential for future home run gains. And third, all the cash they collect from selling off that potential, well, that gets paid out directly to investors like you and me as income. And this really gets to the core trade-off here. A covered call gives you cold, hard cash in your pocket right now. But in exchange, you're agreeing to give up your shares if the price shoots past a certain point. So you get the income, which is great, but you totally sacrifice the chance for that explosive lottery ticket kind of growth. It just goes to show you there's really no such thing as a free lunch in investing. And that brings us right to the heart of the dilemma. After months of happily cashing those big dividend checks, our investor knew it was time to face the music and look at the cold, hard data. It's a question every single investor should ask themselves, but man, it can be a painful one to answer honestly. Was all that income really worth what he might be giving up? Let's see what the numbers had to say. And right here you can see the two paths just completely split. With NVIDIA, yeah, he got that awesome steady stream of cash every month, but the share price itself had this tendency to kind of leak downwards because all its explosive growth was being capped off. Meanwhile, if he just owned NVIDIA stock itself, zero regular income for sure, but absolutely mind-blowing, potentially life-changing gains as the stock just kept rocketing up. Wow. Okay, this chart, this is where it really hits home. It just puts that opportunity cost into such sharp focus. Sure, NVD delivered a modest total return once you added in all the dividends, but it's just completely dwarfed by the absolute mountain of gains he would have had by just holding NVIDIA stock. That huge gap, that was the price he paid for the comfort of a monthly paycheck. But here's the thing. These numbers, they don't even tell the whole story, because investing is never just about spreadsheets and charts. It's also about the emotional battle that's playing out inside your own head. This quote from the investor himself, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that emotional pull of getting income. Seeing that cash hit your account every month feels like a win. It's real, it's tangible, and like he says, it's addictive. It can make you feel so smart and secure, even if the bigger picture is telling you a very different story. So he found himself caught in this constant psychological tug of war. On one side, you've got the sweet, instant gratification of that monthly cash flow. But on the other side, you've got that painful, gut-wrenching fear of missing out, FOMO, every single time NVIDIA hits another all-time high. It's this classic battle between feeling secure right now versus the possibility of building massive wealth for later. So after crunching all the numbers and wrestling with all those emotions, where did he land? What was the final takeaway from this whole experiment? What's the lesson here? It really came down to three huge lessons. First, that incredible yield wasn't free. It came at the cost of growth. Second, this kind of strategy is basically designed to fall behind when a stock is on an absolute tear like NVIDIA was. And third, and this is probably the most important one of all, you absolutely have to know your own goals. Are you trying to build a giant nest egg for 30 years from now? Or do you need cash to help pay the bills next month?
And that leads us to the final verdict on NVDI. It's not a bad investment, not at all, but it's a highly specialized tool. It was never meant to be the growth engine in your portfolio. Its real job is to act as an income accelerator, to just juice your cash flow.
I just love this metaphor he uses. It perfectly sums up the entire experience. NVDA is a workhorse. It's reliable, it's dependable, it shows up with that paycheck every single month, just like clockwork, but it's never going to surprise you with that massive, unexpected promotion that truly changes your life. It's a workhorse, not a racehorse. And in the end, that's the real lesson from this investor's journey. It forces every one of us to ask ourselves that really fundamental question. There's no right or wrong answer here, but knowing your answer, well, that's the absolute key to making the right choice for yourself. What are you really investing for?